Hello and welcome back, everyone. I'm going to start by doing something that I've been forgetting to do for the last 6 weeks, and that is introduce myself. I'm Raptor. Hi. And today is the day for RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 7, and I am excited. Last week was a thing, and I'm still recovering from the overwhelming joy and emotion from that episode. So I'm fully expecting this episode to tear us down with something bad. This episode has received the usual hype that I think we're used to at this point, but still doesn't get really any easier to deal with. Although this time around we've got some from Miles, which we don't see often these days, so maybe some Jaune stuff, or maybe he's the one who wrote the episode. I guess we will find out in due time. We also had a tweet from Casey, so that implies that we're going to get yet another song this episode, which is kind of crazy. That's 3 songs in 3 episodes. So that's, if this is a song, that is. But yeah, we've been getting a lot of songs, and that's exciting. So yeah, let's just get right into this and hope that things don't go too badly. Although me saying that has probably just jinxed it. Okay, here we are. Volume 9, Chapter 7, The Perils of Paper Houses. Oh. Lovely. God damn it. Oh yeah, and now, since last episode, now wondering if we're going to have any more changes to the intro to look out for. Eyes peeled. That's the first time we've had a warning like that too. Which that certainly doesn't help my nerves right now. Oh. I think that was a difference. The little... Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I will double check that. Oh boy. This is probably gonna suck. Ooh, pretty. Oh, it's a paper bird. Oh. Yep. No sleep for you.
I'm late! I'm late!
Excuse me? Whoa, listen to this!
What was that?
Oh look, it is a village.
Never oversleep yesterday. Ugh, all the excitement. Get your head together, you can fix it. You always fix it.
Jaune!
Look, I can't wait, I'm late! Any second, there's going to be another... Damn it.
What is this?
Get to town, I'll meet you there!
I'm never this upset when I oversleep. What did he mean right on time?
I'm sure we'll find out when we get down there. Ruby,
Listen to
where's
this.
your weapon?
Oh, sorry. Still waking up. Hurry! People are counting on us.
I love this. Fish.
Who makes a town out of paper?
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to our village. We hope that it pleases you. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you are so that we may serve you?
Serve us? Your town is on fire!
Oh, no. We are quite safe. We have our hero.
Yay. Is this what he does every day?
Hooray! 3 cheers for the rusted knight and his white rabbit. Hip, hip.
Stop! Back up! There's water everywhere. You'll dissolve.
Hello, water. How may I serve you?
Stop that. I can't believe that almost happened. It's been ages since I missed the first fire.
Do fires happen often?
Oh, every day.
What?
Oh, right, I guess, introductions.
Yeah.
These are the paper pleasers.
Paper
They're probably the
pleasers.
most polite, most hospitable afterns around. Because that's their purpose.
That's an interesting pattern.
When Alex left me to die, Juniper found help. Brought me to the paper pleasers, who got me back on my feet. They work all day. Not just serving travelers, but serving the land they live on, too. They beautify it. Make it a place of peace. Unfortunately, they're a bit clumsy, but that also makes them predictable. I told you to hold these.
Thank you, brave knight.
Classic Ren.
You named them?
Oh.
After your teammates?
No, I named them after everybody.
Hello, I am the one called Ruby. What are you?
Hate that.
Oh man.
Okay, the disastrous lighting of the morning lantern is dealt with.
It's sad,
Just
but
enough
it's
time
also
to
adorable.
strategize before the calming Pebble Tower crumbles, crushing the Koi Pond Dam, and flooding the entire village. So I'm thinking, quick brunch.
I could eat.
My life's work. Over the years, Juniper and I have been systematically exploring as many of the nearby acres as possible.
Ah.
If you think you've seen it all here, let me tell you, you haven't.
What exactly have you been looking for?
Anyone or anything that might be able to take us back home.
Okay, and what have you found?
Yeah. Progress.
But so far, I mean, not much, but I've got a really, really good feeling about this 1 acre we saw with a bunch of pyramids.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I follow. Do you have any leads at all? Any other plans?
This is the plan. Look, I'm sorry I didn't solve all our problems by myself, but I can't just run off and let them die. But between protecting the village, searching for you guys, and searching for an exit, we've got a really tight schedule to keep. Or rather, you've got a tight schedule to keep.
I beg your pardon?
This is the schedule of catastrophes that befall the village every day, or at least they would if it
Oh,
wasn't
God.
in June. With this, you guys can save the day no problem, which means I can go out to keep searching without any interruptions.
Oh, there's one named
With
Pyrrha.
Juniper's
Oh
speed and my
God.
familiarity with this place, we'll find our solution in no time. Guys, this is it. Look, if there's one thing I've learned after all these years, it's that patience pays off. It's why we're finally back together. I know I can find us a way out, okay? I know it. I know it! This isn't crazy. I'm not crazy. This isn't crazy, it's easy. You know, we still got time before the Pebble Tower falls. How about I saddle up Juniper and show you around myself? Point out some of the clumsier papers. Just wait till you guys meet Neptune.
Damn it, John. This isn't a plan, it's a to-do list.
He's obviously been through a lot.
Yeah.
We can be frustrated later. Right now, Jaune needs us. And we still need him. We just can't count on him.
Then who does that leave us with?
It's obvious we need someone to guide us, or we could end up thrown back in time, or killed by the tree, or worse.
Well, if that's how
The
everybody...
great tree does not kill. That is what we keep trying to tell him. But our hero still insists that we never ascend.
What?
I do not wish to be rude, but our work has been completed for quite some time. Because of us, the land is beautiful, but we have realized that, like ourselves, it is also very delicate. We would like to make something that is pleasing, but also resilient. Because of this, we are ready to leave ourselves and merge with the tree, so that it might return us as something new. But our hero is displeased by this course of action. We tried reaching out to the tree, but our hero forbade it. Then, the wisest of our village suggested breaking from our physical forms so that the winds may carry us back to the tree. But our hero is clever and brave, always keeping us from harm. You must understand, the tree does not kill, it resurrects and rebuilds. We do not wish to displease our hero, and I hope I have not displeased you, but we so desperately wish to return to the tree, to return home, so that we may carry on with our work.
Return home, huh?
Oh, do not be sad. The wisest are going to topple the Pebble Tower today. I am sure it will work this time.
What makes you so sure?
Nothing.
That's so sad. Weird, but sad.
But it also means Jaune might not be totally right about the tree.
Yep.
It's not death, it's rebirth. From a certain perspective, maybe. But what happened to Lewis then? Jaune said...
Jaune wasn't there. The cat wasn't even there. None of us know the full story and we'll never learn
Yep.
anything babysitting these villagers. We have to convince Jaune to let them go.
Yeah.
But how? He's clearly not all there.
Is that what you think?
Oh, God.
But what if the cat was telling the truth? Maybe not about everything, but about the tree.
The tree's the last thing you should listen to them about. They're just doing what they're designed to do. They don't care what happens when you get there.
We're not listening to them. We're listening to the Afterins. And they're telling us that the tree is nothing to be afraid of. That they want to go.
They don't know what they want. You've seen the way they act. Nothing here is that straightforward, okay? Afterins are all either too clever, too stupid, or too crazy to trust.
Then why do you care so much about this village?
Because I can actually protect these people!
Oh! That is an issue.
They found us. I am not letting them down.
If those walkers make it down here, those Afterins will never ascend.
Then we won't run this time.
What are you gonna do, Ruby? Yo, cool.
Thank you.
Stay focused.
Oh! Hell yeah, dude. Oh, cool. Cool. Oh. Ah. Hello.
The walkers
Goodbye.
from the market.
Yep.
But those were more than just her usual tricks. They eat and grow, and how has she gotten so powerful?
Well, she didn't do it by standing around. I know you may not care about protecting this village, but you could at least help your friends when they're in danger.
Ruby? Are you okay?
Oh no.
No, no, no! What time is it? No!
Oh god.
No!
Oh, Jaune.
I couldn't save them. I was supposed to save them, and they're dead.
No, Jaune. They're gone, but they're not dead. They'll be back.
Yeah, it's what they wanted. Right, Ruby? Why are you asking me?
We just...
Because I'm the leader? Because I'm just supposed to have something to say? Because I don't. I mean, why do I have to be the leader anyway? Why do I have to always be the one to pick people up? What about me? No time, right? Gotta get home. Gotta help Jaune. Gotta find someone who isn't just going to screw everything up. Gotta stay positive, right? Smiles all around. Maybe even finally get our feelings sorted out.
Aw, RWBY.
Good for you, by the way. We're all so happy for you.
Hey!
I'm sorry, is this a bad time? Are we supposed to be mourning Jaune's make-believe friends?
They're gone because of you. The walkers came for you because Neo hates you. Oh, and let's not forget the reason we're in the Ever After in the first place is because of your plan that
hell.
didn't work. What about you? It's all about you.
Jaune.
I'm sorry, I know I'm not okay. I'm not right, but how am I supposed to be? I've been alone for so long. Here, on that bridge, I was the only one that could do it. I was the only one! And now I have to live with that forever. In here or back home.
Guys, I know things are bad, but...
Shut up. Don't do that. Just don't.
Was a Miles episode. I love that they've kept the water sound here. Fuck. Well, was right about the episode, that it was gonna suck. Not suck in a, like, it was a bad way, but in a, oh, God. That's the kind of thing that all of us have sort of been expecting / wanting for a very long time now. But that does not make it easier to see. So where do we go from here? Where does RWBY go from here? That's question number one. I can definitely understand why Miles was excited for this episode, because not only did he write it, but man, he put in one hell of a performance there. Oh, jeez. And Lindsay too. God damn, I cannot imagine what that was like for Lindsay recording that, because that's the first time RWBY's ever been like that. So, where the hell can we cast? There they are. Oh, cool. All the little paper pleases are the directors. Connor, Dustin, Paula, Issa. Dalton, I don't think I know who that is. Oh, well, look at that. Only 2 people in the score team this time round. God, it's been a while since we've had that. Both the Martins. They did good. God, that first cue. My God. That, like, jazzy bit. Whew. Whew. That was fun. Yeah, this is a bit different. Oh, wow. They've added a lot to the senior animators for this episode. It's usually like half this amount of people. So that's pretty cool. Oh, look at that. A few new names in there. Neat. Ah, that's okay, yeah. That's where I recognize that name from. That's right. Okay. Yeah, okay. God, I feel so, like, emotionally drained. The Perils of Paper Houses, indeed. Right. God, I can tell already that rewatching this episode is going to be painful. It usually takes, like, the second watch for, like, my, like, big emotional response to kick in. Like, that happened with episode 4. It happened last episode. It's probably going to happen this episode too. So, like, tomorrow morning when I'm watching it again, I'm probably going to cry like a baby. Yeah, I think I'll save everything else for the discussion section. So, I will see you then, which is in, like, 2 seconds. Discussion section. This episode was a tough one. Not just because it's hard to watch, but because I was really having trouble, like, making notes for the final scene as to, like, what to talk about. I don't know why. It was just like drawing blanks every time I tried to think of something. And because of that, I had to rewatch the scene multiple times, and each time it hurt like hell. So that was fun. But anyway, let's just dive into this. A brief mention on music, because I don't have a ton to talk about. That opening cue. Oh my goodness. I think that's, like, the most jazzy piece of score we've had in RWBY ever. And it is awesome. I don't know who did it. It was either Martin Gonzalez or Martin de Lima. Either way, they did amazing. I cannot wait to hear that on the soundtrack. Fingers crossed it's on there. Because that is a bop. And a new song. This is our 3rd song in 3 episodes, which I think is a record. named Trapdoor. It is wonderful, as usual. I'm not much of a lyrics guy, but, man, these lyrics. Yeah. And with this one, this brings us up to how many songs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 5? Is that 5? Let me double check. Yes, okay, that's 5. 6 if you want to count the final credit song, which we know we're getting. Which means that we'll probably have 1 or 2 more in the last few episodes. If they appear in the show, that is, which I think they probably will. So yeah, that is exciting. One thing to note about the song so far is that the titles are all one word, which is interesting. Taking the Volume 8 approach. Volume 8 episode title approach, that is. So I'm expecting the remaining songs to follow that trend. Okay, some of the smaller stuff. Jaune's map. It's a very interesting thing to look at because it does match up with the wide shots of the Ever After that we got back in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Like, we see that the acre that people were referring to as Candyland is the Cake Acre, or the Caker, as Jaune has called it, which is adorable. And we see the Crimson Castle, the Garden, and the Paper Pleaser Acres, all where they say they are. The volcano one is there. But the interesting one, of course, is the one that's next to the volcano acre, which Jaune doesn't have a name for. He just has a symbol for, and the symbol looks like the Jabberwocker. So interesting. And of course, that one is also right next to where we currently are, the Paper Pleaser Acre. So maybe that's where we might be going next. Or not. I don't know. And that fight. That was a great fight this episode. Damn. One thing about it that I think is different from most, if not all other fights in the show, is how tight the camera is to the action. Like, the camera is very close to the action. Like, and it very rarely, if ever, like, pulls back to show like a wider shot. And it's just very interesting because I don't think we've had something like that before, like a whole fight like that. And I'm curious how intentional that was to make it different. So, as of this episode, we have now seen everything from the trailers, which means that we have no possible idea of what things could happen after this. So, fun. The Paper Pleasers. They were a fun little group of characters, and I like how they were utilized in this episode. We learn about them and their purpose. Their purpose is to be kind and hospitable, to serve people and the land they live on, and to beautify it. That is their purpose. That is what they do. And then in the middle of the episode, we have that one paper pleaser who has the tree pattern tell us about ascension and how they feel about it. They feel that their purpose has been served and they're ready to ascend, and they want to ascend. They want to go to the tree. But of course, Jaune is preventing them. And this is the third episode in a row where we've had a perspective on what ascension is. Like, we first had it with the cat. We had the cat's perspective on what ascension is. Then we had Jaune's perspective last episode. And this episode we have something that's, I guess, more in the middle between the two. So maybe something that is more along the lines of what the truth actually is. And now let's talk about Jaune for a bit. Firstly, his naming of the Paper Pleasers is both adorable and sad, as is his to-do list. It's a very fun thing to read through, but at the same time, man. And of course, seeing the paper pleasers named after other characters, especially the one that's named Pyrrha. Oh, God. That's... Ugh. That one hurts. We learn about Jaune's plan that he was talking about last episode, which is to find a way home. That doesn't, I guess, involve going to the tree. He's been systematically exploring the Ever After, looking for a way out, and it seems, at least, that he has found no leads, and he has no other plans. So, yeah. We all suspected as much, but this episode we do get to see that he is clearly and understandably not well mentally. You know, he's spent however many years searching for this answer, for this way home, because he refuses to give up that hope. You know, and he says it, like, I know I can find us a way out. I know it. And while I guess there is something admirable about his resolve and ability to hold on to that hope, it's also a very sad thing to see. And of course, Team RWBY recognized that. As Blake says, you know, he needs them and they need him, but they can't exactly count on him at the moment. So this episode very much focuses on Jaune's need to protect, with his refusal to leave the paper pleasers to their own devices and everything, and preventing their ascension, even though it's something that they want. And as we see from his to-do list, protecting the paper pleasers and keeping them safe is his number one priority, because the very last thing on that list is find a way home. So that is secondary to protecting these people. And of course, we know why he thinks of this as his first priority, because, you know, to him, that is his constant failure. His failure to protect people, which, of course, goes back to Pyrrha and follows all the way through to Penny. And Jaune has many painful lines this episode, but the first one, the because I can actually protect these people line, it obviously ties in with his guilt that we see later on in the episode as well. Again, his need to protect, because it is something that he is, in his mind, consistently failed at again and again. And unfortunately for him, he fails yet again at the end of the episode, as the paper pleasers finally, I guess, achieve their goal and drown themselves. His line there, I couldn't save them. I was supposed to save them. You know, it just amplifies everything that we should be noticing about him. And of course, during RWBY's breakdown, he blows up at her, and boy, that is... yeah. But the part that gets me, the part that really, really just tore out my soul, is his instant regret at yelling at her, and him recognizing that, I'm not okay. I'm not right. And then the way he follows it up with, but how am I supposed to be? And then, of course, he talks about being on that bridge and that, he was the only one that could do it. And now he has to live with that forever, here or back home. We know what he's talking about, and that makes it hurt even more, because I don't think the others necessarily know the details of what happened there yet. So, his story has been incredibly sad to see. Part of me loves it, of course, because it's a good story. But at the same time, and to top it all off, Miles freaking Luna. My God. Miles has always been a phenomenal voice actor, but what he's brought to Jaune this volume, and especially in this episode, it's good. It's really, really good. And of course, Miles wrote this episode as well. So, which I suppose makes sense, because Miles does love the angry/angsty monologue kind of thing. And he's very good at writing those kinds of moments, as is evidenced by this episode. And now we move on to RWBY. And this is where things get a bit tough, because this is where I struggled to write stuff down to talk about. So in this episode, we finally see her wall of positivity come down completely and in front of everyone. There is a lot to be said, I think, about her wall, that wall of positivity that she has held up for so long. It's that wall which has inadvertently led to others ignoring her issues, because she's always been that beacon of positivity, that beacon of optimism, and the kind of person that everyone can look to for hope and inspiration, because she's always looked into the face of danger and not really, I guess, cared about the bad things and how they may affect her. And so because of that, I guess facade could be a word to use, there's never been much reason or opportunity for others to actually talk to her about the problems that she has with taking all of these emotions and just locking them up, bottling them up, so no one can see. And this whole thing of others not talking to her about her issues has been particularly highlighted in this volume, obviously, by the moments where they do try to talk to her and then something interrupts and they can't actually talk to her. And also on the other side of it, there's also the moments where they do try to talk to her and she just brushes them off and doesn't want to talk. So all that has led to this, I guess, feeling in RWBY where she sees the others recognizing and talking to others about their issues. In this case, like in this episode, Jaune, they talk about him, while they seemingly ignore her own, which of course isn't true, but from RWBY's perspective, you can kind of see where she's coming from. And it's a very understandable and it's a very valid position. And before we get to, the big moment, the fight happens and she doesn't do anything because I guess she can't do anything. She just is unable to fight, which of course will tie into her struggles with her own identity that's been building up for the last, well, I was going to say few episodes, but this whole volume. The visions, hallucinations she sees, they would seem to be, I guess, her trauma manifesting in a way. Seeing Cinder, seeing that moment with Penny, and of course, Salem. These are all things that are bad things to Ruby Rose. So maybe this could be the catalyst for her, shedding that identity finally and trying to get a new one. Maybe. Once again, we get someone saying her name. Now, we don't have subtitles, so we don't know who. The first guess is that I'm just hearing something wrong and it's like Yang or someone. But I don't know, it sounds a bit different from the others because we do get that first Ruby and then the second one, which is definitely Yang. So, And then we have that moment after the fight where, Jaune tries to hand Crescent Rose back to Ruby, and she jumps back. She's, I guess, scared of it. If she's, scared of Crescent Rose, she's well, maybe not scared's the right word, but unsure, unfamiliar. You know what I mean. But she has that hesitation, and, here she is rejecting herself in a way. So, and once again, this moment is interrupted before it can be addressed, which then leads to the dam finally breaking. Haha, see what I did there? And Ruby finally just lets it all out. So, yeah, in their efforts to console Jaune, they look to Ruby yet again for that positivity. And she has nothing to give but the opposite. And Ruby's dialogue is pretty much everything that I talked about earlier. I mean, her line, why do I always have to be the one to pick people up? What about me? As I sort of talked about just a few minutes ago, it's her opening the lid on the bottle and letting out all of these feelings and thoughts that she's kept there for so long. There's been so much focus from everyone else onto everyone else but herself, that and Ruby's always been the one there to help people in one way or another. To her, it's never been the other way around. And I don't know, I'm rambling. It's a very painful thing to see. And speaking of painful to see, Jaune then blows up at her, and he directly addresses Ruby's line. Ruby said, "What about me?" And Jaune fires it right back. "What about you? It's all about you." And That was a hot knife right through the heart. People have been drawing a lot of comparisons between this scene with these two and previous scenes with Ruby and John. Particularly Volume 4, Chapter 10, where Ruby is, apologizing to him about dragging him and everyone else along with her into this whole mess. Jaune consoles her by saying, like, you didn't drag us along. You gave us the courage to follow you. And here we see, well, I guess the opposite of that, where Jaune is blaming her for everything that has happened. And that hurts. And then, finally, we have the moment where Blake tries to inject some positivity back into this whole situation, and Ruby immediately just shuts her down and tells her to shut up. That bit hurts because I immediately think of their scene from last volume in Chapter 8 of Volume 8, where Ruby is feeling all these doubts and is unsure of everything that is going on. And, Blake, then tells Ruby about, why she looks up to Ruby. That whole thing, which is very sad to think about now, because I can only just imagine how Blake specifically must be feeling about that, and the sort of 180 that Blake and Ruby have had from their Volume 1 selves, where Blake was the sort of pessimistic one and Ruby was the optimistic one, and now they're sort of the opposite. That hurts a lot as well. Oh, and much like Miles, I have to give all the praise in the world to Lindsay Jones. Oh my goodness. They put in such a heart-wrenching performance in this episode. And I cannot imagine what it must have been like for Lindsay in the booth recording that. Because Ruby has never been like this before. This is the first time she's ever been like this. And while it is something that we've sort of seen coming and have been wanting for a very long time, it's still a hell of a thing. And it must have been a very interesting day in the recording booth for Lindsay. But, again, they did great. So, with the end of this episode, the big questions are, where is Ruby going? And what will she do? And I do not have any sort of guesses at all. I do not know. I do find it interesting that she took Crescent Rose with her. Whether she's just running off somewhere close by to just be alone for a bit, or if she's, going very far away and with some sort of goal, I guess we will find out next week. So, yeah. That is everything I have. There's probably a bit more that I probably should have talked about or talked about better. Yeah. But again, this was a tough one. This is a tough one for me personally to just sort of break down into bits that make sense to talk about, if that makes sense. I don't think it does. Yes, while this discussion section may have been a bit of a rambling mess, the episode certainly wasn't. The episode was phenomenal, as they have all been this volume, which is... yeah, It's been a trip so far, and we still have 3 episodes left. With... I don't know. I'm still very much unsure of how this volume is going to end. You know, where will RWBY be by the end of this? Where will Jaune be by the end of this? Where will the others be by the end of this? Yeah. We'll find out next week. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.